Hello, everyone. Well, it's been a pretty serious week in the news. Pretty serious week in the news. There's been a an arrest, a mass arrest of 31. It was 31 white supremacists that were invading Idaho. And their reason for invading Idaho was that they wanted to disrupt and create a riot and disrupt Idaho Pride. They were ready to riot. They had riot gear, they had shields, they had clubs, they had possibly some smoke bombs and mace, and they were ready to invade Idaho Pride. And the police took them out of their U-Haul. They were in the back of a U-Haul. They pulled them out of the back of the U-Haul, made them all line up in rows and kneel on the ground, and tied their hands behind their backs and took them away. Took them away from the scene where they were planning on invading the parade. And so tragedy was averted in Idaho. Who knows where else in the United States this tragic outcome could occur, could happen anywhere, right? There were men from 10 states, 10 states in the Union, all coming to Idaho to disrupt Idaho Pride. And we know that isn't good. That's not good. And I have to tell you that I am opposed to disrupting Pride. And I'm opposed to white supremacy. So I'm glad they nabbed those guys. I'm glad they got them. And I just want to say that white supremacy and hatred of gays and lesbians does not represent the values of mainstream Republicans or mainstream moderates. Moderates, independents, and mainstream Republicans all, white supremacy doesn't represent them. There may be a few Republicans that are rooting for these guys or saying go, 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 or like discriminating against gays, but they wouldn't act on it. They wouldn't follow through themselves. And so they don't represent who we are, the independents and the moderates, and also some other groups that they don't represent us. Okay, they don't represent what we stand for, what we believe in. And in fact, I happen to be a gay woman, and I don't that doesn't represent me. Those white supremacists that were going to disrupt Idaho Pride, they don't represent me or who I am or what I stand for. And so, and also libertarians, they don't represent libertarians either, white supremacists. So the independents, the moderates, the libertarians, and also mainstream Republicans are not represented in any way, shape, or form by hate groups and Um, maybe they don't like gays, but they're not going to disrupt a pride parade. They're not going, because law and order must prevail, right? But they don't want gays in their neighborhood, I guess. Um, Creepy thing about it is that it's all about sex, right? People are wondering what you're doing in your bedroom. That's the creepy part, is that people worrying about your sex life. Oh my gosh. And Pride Parade is sort of putting your sex life on display and saying, here I am, ha ha ha, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay. Look at my sex life. And there's nude guys on floats doing a dance. You know those guys that like to dance on a float in the buff, or nearly so. Maybe they have a G-string and a little cup for modesty's sake, and they're doing a dance in a G-string. Yeah, all they're wearing is an athletic supporter. You can, if you can't be an athlete, you can always be an athletic supporter. But seriously, pride is becoming more and more dangerous with each passing year. Based upon my experiences at Pride, I can't recommend going, and I won't be going myself. And the reason is because the people who are there that are actually for gay rights and on the side of gays and are gay are incredibly dangerous people. Oh my gosh, when I was there, I was assaulted twice. First, I was verbally assaulted by a woman that was issuing threats against my life if I didn't get out of the way of her and her family. She had a couple of daughters and a wife there, and she was threatening me, and she sat down behind me. I was there first, and she said, is it all right if I sit down here? So she sat down with her family, and she said, if you don't get out of my way, I'm going to kill you. She said that if you don't get out of the way of I'm serious, if you don't get out of the way of my family and quit blocking our view right now, I'm going to kill you. So then I rushed away and ran into a cameraman and disrupted his tripod and rushed the other way. And I had to leave the parade. There was no place for me anywhere along the route. And I had to leave the parade and not see the parade. The other year I was there, I got there early, and I asked a man, is it all right if I stand here? He said, that's fine. Go ahead and stand there. We don't care. And he was there with his family. There were two men, a woman, and some children. And I was stepping out in the street to take a photograph, and the man grabbed me around my middle and pulled me backwards. And I was startled and looked forward, and there was nothing there in front of me. There was not one single thing in front of me. And he grabbed me around my middle and pulled me backwards. And I said, why did you do that? Why did you touch me? And he said, because you were about to run into our daughter, and she was in front of you. And I knew immediately that was BS, because I had looked in front of me and there was nothing there. So I was physically assaulted that time. And it is very dangerous at a pride parade. If you do go, please don't go alone. Please don't go alone. Please go with a group. And if you don't have a group, then don't go at all, because you will be assaulted. I got assaulted 2 times in a row at the Pride Parade. And many years before, like maybe 15 years before that experience, I was at a Pride Parade, and I was clapping and cheering, and I was at the beginning of the parade. I was at the start of the parade route. And immediately this woman ran out, and she was part of the parade. She was part of the parade. And this woman was wearing, she had short hair, of course, but she was wearing this lab suit with poo-poo stains all over it, and she was holding an enema bag, and she was waving the enema bag back and forth, and she ran straight toward me with waving her enema bag, and I instinctively backed up like this. I was so scared of her, and I backed up. I jumped back, and she looked disappointed. She had a look on her face like, and then she continued along the parade route, and she got lots of cheers. She got lots of cheers for waving her enema bag around. That, like I said, they put their sexuality on display for everyone to see. And if you're not into anal and you're not into what they're doing, then you feel less welcome. You feel less welcome, and you feel alienated if a woman with a poo-poo bag runs straight toward you. It's so disgusting. A poo-poo bag. Oh, yuck. Yuck. So, this woman likes giving other women enemas, apparently. I don't know where she gets that from. What I don't see the appeal. So, yeah, Pride Parade has become incredibly, extremely dangerous. And it's not just the white supremacists that show up, it's also the Pride Parade goers. The parade goers are dangerous too. So I can't recommend going to Pride. The parade. The parade itself is dangerous. The Pride organizing the groups that represent the gays and lesbians, those are okay. And of course there's transgender. I'm not leaving transgender people out on purpose. I'm just talking in general terms. Yeah, there's groups for transgender too, but they transgenders, they tend to be separate, and they sort of keep to themselves a little bit. Not as involved or as active in the community because they're such a small minority, right? There's just so few of them. But they do have their own group and their own support group, and they hang out together. It's freakish when you're at a pride parade and the only person attracted to you or you're in a pride pavilion, and the only one that's attracted to you is a gay man. A gay man's looking at you and checking you out, and then you turn around and it's like, oh, it's a woman. He likes fat people, I guess. That was embarrassing. That was really embarrassing. I just look so much like a man. I can't help it. I was made that way. I was born that way. I don't really look like a man, do I? Leave a comment in the section below if you think I look like a man. I guess from behind, maybe I look like a man. I don't know. I really don't know. But I have put on a lot of weight, so maybe that's part of the gender confusion that some people may feel when they see me. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what people are thinking. I can't read minds. But yeah, they don't represent who we are as conservatives. They don't represent these white supremacists that plan on rioting at a pride parade. They don't represent who we are. They don't represent us. They're far right, and if you can even call them right, and they're extremists. They're extremists, and they had their creed posted online saying that they thought that their ancestors conquered America and left America to them and them alone, and that they own America and that no one else has any rights in America from other races. They said this. And so we know that they're beyond the pale. They're far, far right and extremists, and they planned on disrupting Idaho Pride. So they were disruptive extremists, and these guys, they just look like a bunch of losers. They do. They really do. The mug shots they had of these guys, when you look at them, all of them, just some seriously ugly guys, and maybe that ugliness is what pushed them into the waiting arms of white supremacy. But they were so ugly. Oh my gosh! So just such a bunch of losers, such a bunch of losers, and they looked angry too. They looked really angry in their mug shots. They took mug shots of all of them, and they looked angry and bitter and mad and ugly. That ugly too. Yeah, they were ugly also. So just know that these men don't represent who we are as moderates or independents. They don't represent libertarians either, and they don't represent even mainstream Republicans. Although some Republicans may agree with them and like what they're doing, which is a shame. That's the shame of the Republican Party. Shame of the Republican Party is that things like white supremacy, there's people who sympathize, they're sympathizers, and they're enablers because they are sympathetic toward their views, toward the views of white supremacy. They're sympathetic and they're enablers, and there's so many of them. And so many in the Republican Party that are enablers, and they don't represent the mainstream, but there's enough of them, enough of these enablers and sympathizers that these white supremacists get a free pass at events like a Trump rally, for example. And that's another thing they've been talking about, January 6th again. And talk about flogging a dead horse. Just same thing rehashed over and over and over and over. Maybe just before the midterms to try to influence the midterms. Like, would you vote for a Trump supporter if you knew that Trump did this? And it's the worst thing they can think that he ever did, and it was bad. So, but look at what Biden's doing with the baby formula shortage. Oh my gosh. And they had to close the plant again due to flooding. They closed the Abbott plant again due to flooding, and they said it'll be weeks before they reopen for manufacturing the baby formula. So it's going to be all summer delayed. They may have baby formula in the fall, but in the meantime, they have to make up the difference somewhere. And supplies are coming from Europe to make baby formula, but there's no plant to manufacture it in. So the formula is going to be very slow coming. And Biden allowed this to happen. Biden allowed the formula shortage to happen. And there's also a shortage of tampons for women who are having their period. Tampons are in short supply now. Just practically everything's in short supply, and the prices are going through the roof of everything because of inflation, including gas. So it's a lot like Carter. The Carter administration was going into a recession. It was headed into a recession, and gas prices were through the roof. Biden pulled a Carter on us. He's turning out to be worse than Carter. And the Dow keeps falling. It's in free fall. To prevent the Dow from falling, the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates. And notice, raising of interest rates is like a hidden tax. What the Feds do with inflation and interest rates is a hidden tax because the price of everything goes up. And you don't get loan money either without paying a premium. So everything costs more, and there's fewer ways to pay for it. And so we really have to worry about this. This is a serious concern. Who knows? Who knows why or what or wherefore all of these crises are coming, but we know that Biden is behind a lot of them. And so Biden's no good either. I mean, white supremacists are bad, but Biden is bad to babies. I mean, who are the most vulnerable among us, who have no guilt whatsoever, who aren't responsible for the actions of their parents even having them, or that they were brought into the world. They have no responsibility. And they're being tormented by Biden, that Biden is denying the baby's sustenance, their baby formula. It just seems like he's trying to kill babies and kill them as fast as he can. And they were talking about abortion rights, and that kills babies too. And it's like the babies can't win. Somebody's got to care about the babies, right? Somebody's got to care about them. Little fingers and little toes, and always a smile for somebody that smiles at them. They smile back, and happy and giggly, and laugh. Babies' laughter, and babies' firsts, all the firsts that a baby has. And then they're going to deny those babies, those beautiful babies that make their families so happy, they're going to deny them formula. Must hurt a mother's heart. Wound her heart right to the quick. And it would wound anybody that cares about mothers or cares about babies also. Would wound them to the quick. Get you right here thinking of those babies being denied formula and denied sustenance, and seeing that smile turn into a frown and then a cry, and that there's no formula forthcoming. There's no formula coming, and their parents have to either thin the formula they do have, or if they have no formula, just give them water to drink. The babies are paying the price for Biden's inaction. And Biden doesn't seem fazed by it. He still has as blustery a manner as ever. He doesn't quiet down his voice. He doesn't speak in hushed tones like he should in the middle of a crisis. He doesn't seem to feel any culpability whatsoever. He's just saying, that's what he sounds like when he talks. And waving his finger in the air. You know, people hate this. People hate it when you do this. And holding forth like he does. And speaking like he's got everything under control when he doesn't. And everything is out of control. Biden's a piece of work. Something seriously wrong with that man. I could tell even way back when he said that he didn't feel guilty for anything he'd ever done, that he didn't feel any guilt whatsoever. I knew something was wrong with that man. And I've been proven right. Okay, so there's something wrong with Trump too. Why are those our only two choices? Think about that for a moment. Why is it in America we only get two choices? Is that really democracy? Is that really, truly democracy when we only get two choices? Think about it. If it were democracy, there would be a flood of choices, and there were. There were so many candidates at both the Democratic and Republican conventions. There were so many candidates, and they all got swept away in favor of Biden and Trump. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. That's not democracy. Somebody is pulling the strings from behind the scenes and making sure we wind up with the worst possible candidates. And Biden looked the part. He looked like presidential material, and he sounded like presidential material at first. But he has so many things going wrong in his administration. We see that the people have been fooled. The people have been fooled into thinking that he was presidential material, and now they're paying the price at the pump, at the grocery store, and in their homes with their babies. And sending billions in aid to Ukraine, and Ukraine still wants more. They're still not satisfied. They've already used up all the weapons we gave them, and they want more weapons. They want more weapons right now. Reminds me of a little girl that my mom wrote to. She was a pen pal with this little girl, and the girl said, "Give me poupée," which means dolly. Give me poupée. Give me record. I want this record. Buy this record for me. And she finally gave in and bought the girl a record and sent it to her. She never heard from the girl ever again. She just wanted things from her because she was an American. Was overseas pen pal. And that's the way the Ukrainians are. They're like, give me poupée, only they're saying, give me weapon. Give me bomb. Give me gun. Give me ammo. It's terrible. It's just terrible what they're just out to steal as much money from the American people as they can, and Biden's all for it. I wrote to Biden and begged him not to send any more money to Ukraine. And he wrote me back and said, we're sending money to Ukraine, and we're proud of it, and we're standing behind our decision. And the American people are suffering. Meantime, suffering like they've never suffered before, and we're in the midst of a new recession, and it was caused by your unadulterated, unrestrained spending money on payouts for the American people, spending money on everything gets a paycheck. The environment gets a paycheck, a big paycheck. African Americans and minorities get a paycheck. They get a big paycheck. The American people get a paycheck. They get paid out of everybody else's money. Everybody else meaning the middle class that have the most of the tax burden on them. They get paid out of the middle class's paycheck. Even people near poverty level get a paycheck. And then after spending trillions of dollars, then they're spending billions more on Ukraine. And the Operation Fly formula, they have to airlift formula in because of their ineptitude. And after all that, the Dow is in free fall, the Feds are raising interest rates, and we're in the middle of a recession. And as you know, the Fed, which is the Federal Reserve Board, is the creature from Jekyll Island. That's a great book. You should read The Creature from Jekyll Island. It explains how inflation and interest rates are a hidden tax that goes on and on with each succeeding generation as our money becomes worth less and less, and we have to spend more and more on everything. So, just know this. The white supremacists don't represent us, but neither does Biden. And we're looking for something better, and Trump may have been it. Trump may have been better, even despite his mean tweets that he makes. He was a better president than Biden, and we may have no choice but to vote for Trump next time around, because Biden is an utter disaster. He's just so bad that he makes Trump look good, even with the January 6th riots. And that's my position, but you may feel differently. You may feel that despite all that Biden has done, including abandoning Americans in Afghanistan and sending money to Ukraine, despite all that he's done with the baby formula and gas prices, that he still deserves a second and third and fourth and fifth chance. And you may decide to vote for him because you're so disgusted by the January 6th riots that you can't forgive Trump no matter what. And that's fine. That's fine. You can take that position, but whatever position you choose, you're bound to lose. Like the song says. When you've got to choose, any way you look at it, you lose. So, have a terrific week. Keep looking for baby formula, because there's got to be some out there somewhere for your baby. And I know that's cold comfort when you can't find the formula your infant thrives on. But we're praying for you. We're praying for you, and we're hoping that all turns out well, and that your baby thrives and survives this terrible, terrible shortage. And I'll see you next time.